You have esophageal cancer. That's what the doctor told me as I sat in the office at the hospital. The blinding fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, and my nostrils filled with the bleach hospital smell in that chilly room. How can that be? I shouted at Dr. Campbell. The last time I saw you, it was only acid reflux. Well, said Dr. Campbell, abnormal glandular cells now line the walls of your esophagus, which has been damaged by your reflux disease. Furthermore, he told me, the cancer has now traveled to your lymph nodes. What's the survival rate for people in my condition? I asked with a trembling voice. 25%, he said. Later, I would lay in the same hospital 7 times over 3 months as Dr. Campbell inserted a tube into my throat while a laser painfully burned away the cancerous cells lining my esophagus. The treatment damaged my throat so much that I was barely able to speak. So what happened? And why am I telling you this? My name is Jeff Martin, and I'm telling you this because I don't want you to go through the same horrifying experience. In the next 5 minutes, I'll reveal the shocking truth regarding the real cause of your acid reflux and why it has absolutely zero connection to acid stomach, to your lower esophageal sphincter, and even to your diet. I'll show you how over-the-counter and prescription medicines cannot heal acid reflux and how they can actively damage your health and put your life in peril. In this video, I'll also share why drugs and over-the-counter treatments for heartburn are directly responsible for a 715% rise in the chance of developing painful cancerous stomach tumors. I know this information may shock you, but please bear with me for the next 5 minutes. While it might sound unusual, my journey with cancer is what eventually led me to find a solution to my acid reflux and save thousands of others worldwide from this terrible affliction. If you simply follow the step-by-step plan I'm going to share later in this video, starting tomorrow morning, you'll never have to experience any heartburn pain again, or those disgusting acid burps that make you feel like your throat is on fire. Everything I'm about to tell you, including the stunning medical breakthrough plan, is supported by countless peer-reviewed medical studies around the world. It's a proven and tested plan to target and fix the actual cause of acid reflux. Even if you've suffered from acid reflux for decades, I'm positive this will help you. How many thousands of dollars have you spent on medical visits, countless prescription drugs, and over-the-counters that never seem to work? Don't waste your money anymore. This system will heal and prevent acid reflux permanently and cut down your risk of developing intestinal cancer, stomach cancer, esophageal cancer, and prostate cancer, even if you're genetically prone to cancer, to nearly 0%. Right now, as we speak, inside your body lies a silent but deadly killer. It's the root cause of acid reflux and all gastric health conditions, including the majority of GI cancers known to man. But don't worry, in this presentation, I'm going to provide you with the most effective and up-to-date method proven to tackle this silent killer in just 5 easy steps. A method used by myself and 154,000 others around the globe. It's time for you to claim back your health and happiness. That's exactly what happened to Roger Molina from New Jersey, who said, "Dear Jeff, I'm a 57-year-old man from New Jersey and have come across your website completely by accident. I've suffered from acid reflux and hiatal hernia for more than a decade. I was a Zantac and Tums junkie, yet the pain, especially at night or after a heavy meal, was sometimes so overwhelming that I had to take painkillers. I'd tried several other natural remedies prior to reading your book, including the so-called apple cure, but they offered nothing but temporary relief. I must say that your program not only makes sense, it's a real godsend. In less than 2 weeks, my chest pain and constant burning were gone. Not only that, I can't remember when I've experienced such a profound sense of clarity and well-being. I've become a lot more energetic, my sleep is fantastic, and I look and feel fabulous." Here's another. Greg Nicotero of Cambridge, UK says, "Hi Jeff, I'm only 3 weeks into the Heartburn No More program, and by following the principles in your book, I'm already experiencing significant relief from my acid reflux condition. I've been battling with acid reflux, food intolerance, and leaky gut syndrome for 7 years, and I'm so thankful for the invaluable knowledge I've received from your book. It has helped me tremendously with other digestive problems too, and all naturally without the use of conventional medications. I'll definitely recommend your book to anyone suffering from digestive disorders and chronic heartburn. This program is an answer to my prayers. And Jacqueline Dimmick of Finland says, "Dear Jeff, this book is probably the most informative and practical guide on the subject of acid reflux and heartburn that I've ever read. I'm a medical student and have always found the alternative approach to be more complete and fascinating. Following the step-by-step program in your book has proven one thing. The natural way works and has longer-lasting effects than any conventional method. It's been a month since I started applying the program, and the vast majority of my acid reflux and heartburn symptoms have vanished. I no longer have any use for the antacids or proton pump inhibitors. This is truly remarkable." In just a minute, I'm going to explain what causes acid reflux, and I'll give you the solution that has changed the lives of more than 150,000 people. Now, let me tell you how I found out about this amazing cure. My name, as I said before, is Jeff Martin. At 53 years old, I live in a peaceful suburb of Irvine, California. About 60 million Americans suffer from acid reflux, and I was one of them. It started as a mild case of heartburn in my 20s, but it got so bad that by my mid-30s, I had to take medication. I felt so desperate for relief that I spent the next 20 years or so trying out every prescription and over-the-counter drug. But these drugs always had side effects. Even the pills that reduced the reflux left me with other problems. If I'm just trading heartburn for chronic diarrhea or nausea, why bother? I tried adding dairy to my diet, hoping that milk would reduce the acids. It did not. I constantly sucked on Tums and Zantac, hoping for a tiny sliver of relief that never came. Eventually, I just stopped trying. With constant acid burps and a burning throat, I just accepted my fate. I just had to keep living with the discomfort. Years later, I got some news that left me devastated. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But at the same time, this devastating news also led me down the path to finding the truth about acid reflux. 3 years ago, I had a routine checkup with my physician. He already knew a lot about my acid reflux condition. The checkup was going along as usual, but then his expression changed. He saw some discoloration near the bottom of my throat and told me to get it checked out. He said it could mean cancer. The next week, I had an upper GI endoscopy and a biopsy, supervised by Dr. Woodhall, a specialist in gastrointestinal disorders. My worst fears came true when the test results came back. I was now one of the 6 million Americans with stage 2 esophageal cancer. 20% of people who experience acid reflux eventually develop it. This happens when the reflux of stomach acid over a long period burns the esophagus, leading to cancerous tissue. I felt all kinds of emotions: shock, fear, anxiety. I was in the second stage of esophageal cancer, and it was traveling to my lymph nodes. I had no idea that something like acid reflux was slowly destroying my body and putting me at risk. I felt awful when the specialist told me that my only option was to do a combination of chemotherapy and radiation therapy. To make it worse, I was told that as long as I suffered from acid reflux, my cancer couldn't be properly treated. The cancerous cells would keep forming, growing, and spreading in my body. I felt terrified. My first round of photodynamic therapy just made those feelings stronger. Photodynamic therapy is a common way of dealing with cancerous cells in the esophagus. Doctors inject a mixture of chemicals into your veins. Then they shove a laser through an endoscope to burn and destroy the harmful cells. It's so painful. Picture someone taking a 1/4-inch thick tube and then shoving it down your throat through the alimentary canal, deep into your belly. Now imagine having to endure this for more than an hour. And it doesn't end when you leave the clinic. The effects carry on for weeks. You're always nauseous. You can't keep food down. You can't speak. Sleep is restless. And it feels like you're being stabbed in the stomach again and again, day after day. You just have to stay in bed. And then when you finally feel better, it's time for another session. With all this pain, I didn't feel like I had a life anymore. I even thought about killing myself. I didn't want to spend my life in pain, and I was seriously considering ending it all. It would have been an easy escape. These thoughts stayed for a few months until one day when it all changed. I was in the bathroom when I heard a sound. I heard the laughter of my 2 daughters coming from downstairs. Due to my condition and weakness, I couldn't spend much time with them. I'd spent most of the time in bed. Hearing Amy's laugh and the adorable way she called out to her sister during their game of hide and seek, it brought me out of the darkness. This made me reconsider my life. I was a father and a husband and a man, and it was time for me to act like one. That was when I made the decision that I had to take control of my health. To do this, I needed to know everything about my condition. I gathered all the strength I could find and began researching heartburn and reflux. I wanted to understand it to the core. What was it? How was it caused? And above all, what could stop it? The photodynamic therapy put me through hell, but it also meant I had a lot of time on my hands. I moved a work desk close to my bed and set up my computer. My goal was to know everything about my disorder, understand it fully, and figure out how to stop it. I got to work exploring the internet, looking for anything and everything about acid reflux. At first, I didn't have much success, only finding common advice like don't eat spicy foods, quit smoking and drinking, change your diet. Everyone with acid reflux knows this already. I did find out why acid reflux happens. It's associated with the lower esophageal sphincter, or LES. In our bodies, a valve opens and shuts as food enters the stomach. It acts as the regulating mechanism. What happens in people with LES issues or weak LES, however, is that the valve doesn't close after the food enters. The valve stays open, allowing stomach contents, like acids, to rise back up into the throat. This causes heartburn. If your LES does not function properly, most doctors are clueless and helpless. They'll just tell you that your only option is to cope with it, and they'll prescribe medications that, as usual, mask the problem. Regarding those medications, I looked at each one in great detail. I found that not only do these drugs make you nauseous and cause chronic constipation, diarrhea, and stomach pains, but also they hardly ever work. Research shows that 80% of people taking these drugs for relief still have heartburn. Millions of people take these pills, but they hardly help anyone. But as I understood how they worked and what they're meant to do, I realized why they never solve the problem of acid reflux. Think about it. Practically all acid reflux pills, lozenges, and other such medicines do one of 3 things. 1. Prevent the acid from traveling back up to the throat. 2. Lower the acid content already in your stomach. 3. Help boost your immunity to the burning acid by coating your stomach. These are all extremely ineffective. They act similarly to sticking a Band-Aid over a knife wound that's gushing blood. These pills don't treat the disease, they treat the symptom. Stopping the acid from coming up doesn't change the fact that something still causes the acid to rise up in the first place. It's like trying to mop up puddles on the floor without doing anything about the leaks in the pipes causing those puddles. The second type of medication reduces the amount of acid you have in your stomach. The problem is that your body needs to have a healthy amount of acid to fight bacteria and prevent serious diseases such as stomach cancer. This is just one of the reasons why these acids, reducing medications, can actually promote stomach cancer. The third kind of medicine is almost useless. It doesn't treat the underlying issue. It just masks the symptoms for a while. The deeper I went down the rabbit hole of my research, the more I understood the truth. Pharmaceutical companies, doctors, diet and nutrition experts, they've been focusing on what to do about the acid reflux after it's already started, not on how to prevent it. This led me to dig deeper. I studied medical journals and sent emails to credible biologists and scientists. It wasn't just my curiosity driving me. This was personal. It was my only shot at fighting my disease. I had to find a way to reverse my cancer, to stop my esophageal cells from being constantly burned by acid. I had to find a way to stop my pain and my tormenting nights. In March of that year, I got some good news. During my search, I'd contacted a biologist working at a university, Bob Andrews. That day, he responded. He was a busy man with many research projects on the go. Still, he told me that he too had suffered from acid reflux for decades. He understood how desperate I was. He also believed he possessed an easy method that could permanently cure the disorder. To cure acid reflux, he told me that I need to research a type of bacteria called H. pylori. The bacteria held the secret to solving my gastric problems. If I can understand how the bacteria worked and how to destroy it, I could cure my heartburn condition and heal my cancer, regardless of the stage and severity. This would also make me immune to all types of cancer: stomach, intestines, pancreas, prostate, colon, and esophagus. Bob's help was invaluable. He even sent me the access credentials to the research database at his private university. He asked me to swear to keep it confidential. Lastly, he sent links to a myriad of medical articles. Bob's resources pushed me forward. His assistance led me to discover shocking facts about these strange bacteria, the enemy from within. Now, let's talk about H. pylori and why it matters. The articles Bob Andrews sent explained everything. These bacteria are found in half the human population. Research shows that 80% of all stomach ulcers, as well as 90% of all ulcers in the upper small intestine, are caused by it. The ulcers aren't the only thing H. pylori causes. 80% of all stomach cancer cases have been linked to it. There's only one bacterium in the world that the World Health Organization classifies as a grade 1 carcinogen: H. pylori. Scientists have shown that a wide range of medical conditions such as gastritis, esophagitis, and acid reflux can all be traced back to this microbe. You probably have H. pylori in your body as we speak. As it spreads, the cells controlling the secretion of stomach acid start getting affected. This leads to overproduction of hydrochloric acid, and consequently, the acid rushes into the esophagus. This is what actually causes acid reflux. Your stomach acts as the central gateway to various other major organs: the intestines, the pancreas, the colon, the prostate, and the esophagus. The bacterium uses these pathways to colonize and spread. And as it spreads more and more, your risk of developing cancer increases exponentially. Isn't this shocking? A secret organism, something I'd never heard of, was inside my body killing me. Why had I never heard of these bacteria? If scientists knew about it, why hadn't they developed drugs to fight it? I wrote back to Bob. He replied back saying he would rather have this discussion over the phone. So I picked up the phone and immediately dialed his number. What he told me was informative, but it filled me with rage. Bob told me why I hadn't heard of H. pylori and its effects. If pharmaceutical companies developed a cure, it would also cure cancers of the stomach, intestine, pancreas, prostate, esophagus, and countless other diseases. I felt perplexed. I thought curing diseases was what the pharmaceutical companies aimed for. Bob saw how naive I was, and then he shattered my illusions with a very simple point. The treatments for cancer, including drugs, medication, and medical procedures such as chemotherapy and radiation therapy, earned these companies around $200 billion every year. Add to this the tens of billions of dollars in treatments for other gastrointestinal diseases caused by H. pylori, and you can see why Big Pharma has no incentive to develop a cure. This theory was confirmed by my friend Peter Shaw, who'd worked for more than 20 years as a medical researcher at a top Ivy League university. After having this eureka moment, I didn't feel happiness or joy at first. I felt angry. After all, these were completely natural, inexpensive foods. Yet not a single doctor had told me anything about them. There was no acid reflux drug available based on these studies. Why? Did our healthcare system, the very people we trust to make us better, really not care? That's when Peter told me something that made my blood boil. Jeff, he said, you need to understand something. You remember your ex-girlfriend, Shelley? Sure. Don't remind me she was crazy, I replied. Well, said Peter, remember how you split up because Shelley was so possessive? And when you met your current wife, Shelley did everything she could to sabotage the relationship? Yeah, I said. It was like if she couldn't have me, no one could have me. Exactly, said Peter. Big Pharma are just like Shelley. Pharmaceutical companies aren't legally allowed to patent natural ingredients, he said, which means they can't turn them into a profitable drug. So instead of letting you go and allowing you to get better with natural, pure ingredients proven to work, they try to cling on to you by rebranding toxic antacid and pain-killing drugs as treatments for acid reflux. I couldn't believe what I was hearing, and it lit a fire under me. What now? I asked Bob. What are the millions of Americans like me suffering day in and day out supposed to do? Is there no hope? There was a long silence. That's when Bob told me something that would change my life. He replied, "That's not the case at all. In fact, you can get rid of every trace of H. pylori and put an end to your acid reflux for good in about a week's time. Listen carefully and write down everything I'm about to tell you." I grabbed my pen and started writing. To flush out the H. pylori from my system, curing my heartburn and the threat of cancer, I needed to follow 5 steps. I could do these things easily from the comfort of my home. He went on to name 5 scientifically proven compounds and nutrients that destroy H. pylori. To add to that, he gave me an instant remedy, 3 easily available food items for any type of acid reflux attack at any level of severity. All the compounds and nutrients he named can be found in fruits, vegetables, supplements, teas, and oils. You can add these to your diet without putting a dent in your wallet. On top of that, they're also full of vitamins and nutrients. Let's talk about one of the compounds Bob told me about, sulforaphane. Researchers from a lab at Johns Hopkins University added this chemical, along with a few others, to the diets of test subjects, including both mice and humans. In both, they saw H. pylori wiped out. To fully rid your body of H. pylori, you need to consume sulforaphane, along with 4 other equally important nutrients. Bob gave me a long list of common foods, beverages, oils, and supplements containing all these elements. He also told me the amounts of each item I needed to take every day. This was a key piece of information. He said the purpose of this wasn't just to get those elements into my body, but also to do it in a way that could kill the bacteria without upsetting my body's balance. These 5 nutrients are clinically proven to eliminate acid reflux. I called them the Heartburn 5. This must have been why Bob, who once suffered from severe heartburn, seemed practically immune to acid reflux and esophageal cancer, and why none of his friends or family showed any signs either. The foods they ate every day constantly protected them from acid reflux and related cancers. Near the end of my long talk with Bob, he asked me to try out a 5-step protocol. He also instructed me to use the immediate 3-food item reflux relief protocol every time I had a heartburn attack. I had to follow up with him in a week. By the end of our 3-hour conversation, I felt overwhelmed. Even though I knew Bob was credible, I still felt skeptical. I'd spent decades dealing with acid reflux, and I was in a painful battle against the cancer spreading to my throat and lymph nodes. Nothing had worked. Not medication, not dietary changes, and now someone I barely knew told me that the solution to all of this was to combine a few nutrient-rich foods and beverages. I had trouble believing that it could be true. It seemed almost too easy. Still, I didn't have any other options. I'd tried every possible solution with no success. I had nothing to lose. The following day, I started to put Bob's method to the test. I paid $17 to the clerk at the grocery store for a 2-week supply of food. I realized it wasn't costing me more than usual. I could simply swap out my usual food items for the ones he'd specified. To be honest, the first day wasn't easy. The photodynamic therapy sessions had left my throat horribly burned. Having to eat everything seemed like a challenge, but I found strength and got through it. That's why I felt surprised that I didn't feel nauseous and didn't burp after eating those foods. The next day, I continued following Bob's diet and the rest of the protocol in his guide, and once more, I felt pleasantly surprised to keep an entire meal down without any issues. 5 days in, I realized that since I'd started Bob's protocol, I hadn't had a single case of heartburn, no pain and no burning in my throat. Eating other foods became so much easier. By the 9th day, it was time to see whether Bob's 5-step strategy could handle the worst I could give it. I decided to eat a large pepperoni pizza on my own. It was delicious. The last time I'd had a small slice of pizza was a year ago. I was convinced I'd pay a price for it with a night full of acid reflux and burps. I was wrong. Nothing came up. No acid burps, no upset stomach. I thought, what is happening? Is this actually working? I was 2 days late for my follow-up with Bob, but after my experience with the pepperoni pizza, I gave him a call. I wanted him to know that thanks to his method, I'd felt better than I had in years. Bob, tell me honestly, how did you know this would work? I asked. Bob replied, remember how I told you I used to suffer from acid reflux? Emphasis on the used to. This is the exact strategy that helped me solve my acid reflux once and for all. At my next appointment with Dr. Woodhull, he was speechless. My esophagus was healing on its own. He wanted to run a few tests to be sure, and I got an esophageal pH test, along with a full blood panel. When the results came in, Dr. Woodhull still couldn't believe it. Every single lab metric showed that I was in perfect health, and the MRI showed there was zero sign of cancer in my esophagus or the lymph nodes. I was finally free of acid reflux and the related cancer that haunted my nights. The joy felt surreal. Picture what it would be like if, starting tomorrow, you never had to go through acid reflux again, ever. Without costly treatments, without painful procedures. All by just adding natural nutrients to your diet without spending any more than your regular grocery budget. You'd never have to purchase any drugs to treat acid reflux again. No more Tums and other over-the-counters. No more useless and expensive doctor visits. No more nasty side effects. Not only would you be free of your heartburn, you would also eliminate the bacteria that causes the majority of cancers and chronic GI-related health conditions in the world. I felt ecstatic. I had reclaimed my life. That's what convinced me that I needed to spread the word about Bob's method to as many people as possible. At first, I simply typed up everything into a simple and easy-to-follow guide, and I handed it out to a small group of family and friends. Naturally, I wanted to get this guide out to as many people as possible. But Bob stopped me. Like any good scientist, he wanted to prove the results. He wanted more data. And he was right. After all, one person wasn't enough proof. That's when I had an idea. Over the years, I had built up a network of friends online who also suffered from acid reflux and cancer. These people were spread out across the globe, and they were always there to offer support and advice to one another. I contacted these people to see if they'd be willing to put our protocol to the test, free of charge. Not only did the majority agree, but they contacted their friends too. Within the span of 2 weeks, Bob and I had a huge list of volunteers desperate to try our plan. The results were more spectacular than we even hoped they would be. Within a few short weeks, all the volunteers reported an improvement in their symptoms. Even Bob was shocked by the results. As a scientist, he said he'd normally be ecstatic to see a 60 to 70% success rate. But here we were pushing perfection, and all in less than a month. My cell phone and inbox were full of remarkable tales of recovery and heartfelt thank you messages. And that's why I've created this presentation. After seeing the devastating impact that acid reflux had on my life, I've made it my mission to get this protocol out to as many people as possible, so no one else has to suffer like I did. And I'm proud to say that the devastating statistics about this overlooked and often ignored condition are about to change forever. As I speak, over 60 million Americans experience some form of acid reflux, with 60 million of those suffering esophageal cancer. But the most shocking thing of all is that the medical mainstream continues to tell you that nothing can be done about it. Today, things are finally about to change. With Bob's help, I've developed a safe and 100% natural treatment for eliminating even the worst cases of acid reflux in as little as 2 days. It improves health and immunity and fights other digestive disorders too. I've called it Heartburn No More. I wanted to publish this method in a scientific journal, but Bob told me that wouldn't be possible. Big Pharma would try to stop the publication of this information. Academic science and medicine are all funded by pharmaceutical companies. If the journals wouldn't publish the cure, our only option was to go directly to the public. And so we did. Heartburn No More contains Bob's unique 5-step method that anyone can easily follow in the privacy of their own home using cheap, everyday ingredients. And this website is the only place in the world you can get a copy. You're probably excited to get a copy, but you should know one thing before we go on. Bob is worried about having this information publicly accessible on the web. This cure will be costly to pharmaceutical manufacturers, and when they hear about it, they're sure to go after Bob. These are giant corporations with practically unlimited resources. They will stop at nothing to keep him quiet, and they may try to get Bob fired or file a lawsuit against him. That's why I can't guarantee this website or the cure it offers will be available forever. As soon as Big Pharma threatens Bob, this site will go offline. With that disclaimer out of the way, let's get to how you can use Bob's cure. I've taken Bob's entire strategy and explained it in detail. By following the steps and instructions in Heartburn No More, you can finally and naturally put an end to your acid reflux condition. The strategies outlined in Heartburn No More are first and foremost designed to target and destroy H. pylori by focusing on the 5 scientifically proven compounds and nutrients that eliminate H. pylori. We've also included instructions on how to add these compounds and nutrients to your diet. As soon as you start using them, you'll flush H. pylori out of your system and you say goodbye to your acid reflux condition and the risk of cancer for good. Constantly eating the same foods can get boring quickly. That's why Heartburn No More provides many options to ensure you can always come up with new, interesting food combinations. If you get tired of one item, or if it isn't available in your grocery store, try out another option. Completely removing H. pylori from the digestive tract will take just a few weeks. After that, it would never return. Unlike other treatments that target the symptom, Bob's cure targets the root cause. This is all it takes. 3 weeks of eating some extra fruits, veggies, and natural items can permanently cure a disease that could have hurt you for years. And it will also reduce your risk of developing other cancers. After 3 weeks, you can always come back to the guide and follow it for a week every few months. This is regular body maintenance. After spending your entire life avoiding foods due to heartburn or dealing with the side effects of useless drugs, imagine the freedom of never having to deal with acid reflux again. You're never going to have painful acid burps, leaving a horrible taste in your mouth. Heartburn No More offers you not just a quick fix, but your life back. Heartburn No More has already done just that for more than 154,000 other people just like you. People like Karen Thompson of New Zealand, who recently wrote to say, "I used to be hooked on junk food, Tums and Pepto-Bismol. I'd suffered badly from severe acid reflux, chest pain, and bloating, to the point that I begged my doctor to hospitalize. My doctor insisted that acid reflux is a lifetime condition and that there was no cure. Since I had nothing to lose, I bought your book and followed your program to a T. I was really blown away by the fact that about 20 days after I started applying the dietary and cleansing principles outlined in your book, my acid reflux was completely cured. This is amazing. And I was so excited that I had to drop you a thank you note." And Bob Lubin of Victoria, Australia says, "Hello, Jeff. When I was first diagnosed with GERD, my doctor specifically told me I would have to live with the condition. Luckily, I stumbled onto your website and ordered your wonderful book. I was so fascinated by the whole holistic approach, and I immediately started the first step. I was amazed and thrilled to find out that in less than 10 days, the symptoms of excess stomach acid and acid reflux that were driving me insane for so long had dramatically decreased. And my condition is still improving. No more Tums and sleepless nights for me. Thank you, and God bless." Mike Rosenberg of California, USA writes, "Since I started your program, my acid reflux symptoms seem to be on the run. I have no chest pain or burning sensation after a meal, even a heavy one, and I have tossed away all those expensive pills. This book is easy to understand, and the program is quite practical if you take it one step at a time. Moreover, I am no longer constipated as I was prior to starting Heartburn No More, and I wish to thank you for that as well. This information should scare the hell out of pharmaceutical and drug companies. Thank you for being such a kind spirit." Those are just a few of the hundreds of thankful emails Bob and I receive each day. Given this program's effectiveness and the fact that it has such an amazing record of documented results, how much does the Heartburn No More protocol cost? Well, before I answer that, let me ask you something. What is an acid reflux-free future worth to you? What would you pay to stop that devastating acid once and for all? Hundreds? Thousands? Tens of thousands? Whatever figure you have in mind, you know as well as I do that putting an end to that nightmarish acid pain will be the best investment you could ever make. Period. On the other hand, if you ignore everything I've said and carry on as you are, you'll not only be sentencing yourself to a lifetime of acid reflux, which could get worse at any moment, you'll also be placing a huge burden on your loved ones. Because remember, it's not just you going through this. Your family is too. And you need to think about them when you consider the costs of doing nothing. After all, if you choose to carry on living with acid reflux, you'll be forced to shell out money year after year on things like doctor's visits, prescription medication, over-the-counter pills, and much more. None of this actually gets to the root cause. This means you'll be draining your bank account on useless Band-Aid treatments for the rest of your life. And if you didn't know it already, living with acid reflux doesn't come cheap. Taking an over-the-counter drug like Zantac 3 or 4 times a day will end up costing you around $25 per month or $300 per year. Of course, that's if the over-the-counter or prescription medications work at all. For a lot of people, they don't, which means you can't even put a price on real, permanent relief. And that's not even mentioning the ultimately terrifying and deadly side effects of cancer and other life-destroying diseases caused by the H. pylori in your body. Remember, cancer treatments cost the average person between $62,000 and $100,000 per year. And the treatments are almost as bad as the disease itself. Sickening chemo and radiation, nausea-inducing medications, the loss of your hair, the loss of weight, and the yellowing skin. Plus, none of these treatments are guaranteed to work, and the cancers caused by this evil little bacterium, which is already lurking inside of you as you watch this, may very well put you in the grave. So let me ask you again, what would you pay to eliminate your acid reflux and do it in as little as 2 days? Well, Bob and I have already made it clear that the price of this protocol should be set at an absolute minimum of $497. $497 gives you 2 guarantees: that you will never suffer from heartburn or any other symptom of acid reflux again, and that your body will be virtually cancer immune. This should seem like a bargain. And a large percentage of people who took part in the trial have already admitted to me that they would have happily paid 3, 4, even 5 times that amount based on the results they've achieved. The good news is I don't want you to pay anything like that kind of money. And there are 3 reasons why. 1, I've set myself a target of helping 1 million people silence their acid reflux in the next 12 months. And I can't do that if I price out the majority of people. 2, this has never been about money for me. Making a profit is not, and never has been, my motivation. This is about people's lives, which I've spent my entire adult life protecting. And 3, I made a promise to myself. After living with acid reflux for a decade, along with the stage 2 cancer it inflicted upon me, I simply want anyone suffering from this condition to be able to get the help they need without worrying about whether they can afford it. End of discussion. So here's the deal. You're not going to have to pay $497 today, or half that, or even 1/10 for that matter. In fact, all I'm aiming to do here is recover the cost involved in the research and development of this protocol and putting together this website, which I think you'll agree is more than fair. So when you click on the button below, you can pick up the Heartburn No More protocol for the tiny one-time payment of $39. And that's it. No monthly costs, no extra fees, just one simple payment, and it's all yours. And if you order today, you will also receive 2 special bonuses, absolutely free. Free bonus number 1, the Perfect Vision Protocol, value $55.95. Whether you suffer from short-sightedness, farsightedness, blurry vision, or even day-to-day struggles with your vision, the Perfect Vision program is something I'm sure you'll be excited to get your hands on. Written by the renowned off-the-grid doctor, Dr. Chen, it details the exact, unusual, but powerful method used by over 34,000 people to naturally and safely restore their 20/20 vision in just 14 days. This technique has created fear in the eye care industry. And thanks to this guide, more and more people every day are throwing their glasses and contacts away and living a life of perfect, crystal clear vision. This unique 20/20 vision restoration program retails at $55.95, but it's yours absolutely free when you order today. Free bonus number 2, one-on-one email consultation with me for 1 month, a value of $700. This is worth a minimum of $700, which is the amount I charge for just 2 phone consultation sessions. Many people find these custom designed sessions invaluable for identifying and working with me to successfully and effectively treat their own unique acid reflux condition. I only have time, however, to personally counsel a few more people per month. So you have to act now to make sure you secure this amazing bonus. So for the small, one-time only investment you see below, you will get instant access to the Heartburn No More 5-step system, worth $497. The Perfect Vision protocol, worth $55.95. The 1-month unlimited email consultation with me, valued at $700. That's over $1,200 of acid reflux eliminating, life-changing value. And all for the cost of 1 meal at an average restaurant or a family trip to the movies. It's nothing, yet the results could be priceless. To get started now, simply click the Add to Cart button you see below this video. Once you do that, you'll be taken to the secure checkout page that Bob and I have set up, where you'll enter your basic information. You'll then be taken to our special members only section, where you'll be given immediate access to the entire Heartburn No More program. From there, you'll be able to instantly view the food lists, the combination guides, the portion instructions, my personal email for your consultation sessions, and everything else right from your computer, smartphone, or tablet. You can also download all the lists and guides or print out copies for you and your loved ones. Think about it. Just 5 minutes after you push that Add to Cart button, you can guarantee that you will never have another acid burp, stomach ache, burning throat, or other symptom of your acid reflux again. Both me and over 150,000 other people have already experienced those results, and now it's your turn to follow in our footsteps. And because I am so determined to make sure that you get your hands on this guide right now, your small investment today will even be covered by a full 60-day, 100% money-back guarantee. Here's how it works. You click the Add to Cart button below this presentation, and immediately you'll be given instant access to the entire Heartburn No More guide. Start using it right away and see firsthand just how amazing and life-changing the results are. You'll never experience another case of heartburn again. You'll never need to pay for another antacid or prescription medication again. And you'll never need to avoid the foods you love because you're afraid they may trigger your acid reflux. Even though I'm positive you'll get results immediately, you still have a full 2 months to try out Heartburn No More. If after using the program for yourself, you're not satisfied for any single reason, or if you have to pop even 1 Zantac or similar heartburn medication after using this cure, I want you to send an email to the address I'll give you in the members only area, and I'll immediately refund your entire purchase with no questions asked. In other words, there is absolutely zero risk on your end. You simply say maybe to Heartburn No More today by clicking that Add to Cart button below, and then you get a full 2 months to take a test drive to see just how well it performs. But remember, if you're ready to cure your acid reflux and destroy your H. pylori, it's incredibly vital that you take that action right now. Neither Bob nor I can guarantee how long this site will stay up. Every day, more than 1,000 Americans just like you discover this website and try Heartburn No More for themselves. And because the results are so incredible and so consistent, those same people are blogging about the program, sharing it on social media, and telling as many others as they can about it. It's great that so many people are finding out about this, but it also puts us at risk of being discovered by Big Pharma. It could be only days until the drug companies find out what we're doing and come after Bob or me using the billions of dollars in their war chest. So if you're even half curious about Heartburn No More and want to give it a 60-day risk-free test run, I urge you to go ahead and satisfy your curiosity right now. You are guaranteed to see your acid reflux disappear, and you'll remove from your body a major cause of cancer. This presentation is now over, and the final decision is yours. You can just leave this page and go on with your day. That's your right, and while I think you'd be making a mistake, there won't be any hard feelings. But when you have heartburn later tonight, tomorrow, or next week, when you still find yourself buying over-the-counter medications or using prescription drugs 5 years from now, even as they do little to bring you real and permanent relief, and if, God forbid, your acid reflux morphs into something much more serious, just like mine did, aren't you going to regret the fact that you didn't take 5 minutes to try out Heartburn No More for yourself? Especially when it's completely risk-free and you get instant access. The choice is yours. I hope you do the right thing and make the decision that will give you your life back. Click the button below now. I hope to hear about your success story soon. I'm Jeff Martin. Still there? That's okay. I understand that you may still have some questions about the Heartburn No More guide. That's actually pretty common given the information inside this program, which is why I'll take a few minutes here to answer some of the most common questions people ask me after watching this video. Number one, how exactly does Heartburn No More work? Why can it cure my acid reflux when all the medications, lozenges, and even eating plans I've used in the past have failed? The reason Heartburn No More succeeds where other heartburn solutions fail is that this guide addresses the root cause of your acid reflux. In other words, you've always been told that your acid reflux is the problem that needs fixing, but really it's just a symptom of a hidden killer inside your body called H. pylori. Over 60% of all Americans have H. pylori, and it's responsible for almost all stomach ulcers, stomach cancers, and cases of heartburn. What this guide does is show you how to combine a complete 5-step plan, a 2-day rapid acid reflux relief, and 7 different all-natural chemicals together in a way that systematically fixes the root cause of acid reflux while seeking out and destroying H. pylori. As a result, not only do you reduce your chances of getting numerous forms of cancer, but you also completely eliminate your acid reflux in the process. Number 2, why have I never heard of this before? Well, as I mentioned before, Big Pharma and the drug manufacturers make more than $300 billion per year off the medications they sell you. The key to these profits is that you keep buying their drugs. That means they're not looking to cure you. They're looking to provide temporary relief, which is why they've never tried to create a drug that targets H. pylori before, and why they intentionally keep this hidden killer a secret from the American public. Number 3, what kind of results can I expect with Heartburn No More? Typically, people see their heartburn disappear within the first 48 hours of the program, and usually within 7 days max. We recommend following it for a full 21 days. However, to ensure that you get the maximum benefits, including the total elimination of H. pylori. 4, what's all of this about cancer prevention? Scientists have shown that H. pylori is responsible for 80% of all cases of stomach cancer. So when you get rid of the bacteria, you can also dramatically reduce your chances of getting that form of cancer. Additionally, because this hidden killer spreads through your gut, it also causes many other types of cancer, including those in the intestines, the colon, the prostate, the throat, and the esophagus. So again, once you eliminate the cause of these cancers, you also inherently eliminate your chances of getting the cancers themselves. Number 5, what are the terms of that guarantee again? Once you've decided to try Heartburn No More for yourself, you'll have a full 60 days to use it. There's no risk at all during this time. You simply give it a shot and see how incredible and life-changing the results are. You'll see your acid reflux disappear in a matter of hours or days, but you still get an entire 2 months to make your decision. If for any reason you change your mind about this guide at any point during those 2 months, all you need to do is send an email to the address I'll give you. and I will instantly refund your entire investment with no questions asked. Number 6, is my credit card and personal information safe? Absolutely. When you click the button, you'll be taken to ClickBank's 100% secure payment form. Your credit card and personal information are electronically processed without compromise. ClickBank is a top 100 global retailer, accredited by the Better Business Bureau and trusted with over 200 million customers in more than 190 countries. Number 7, can I use PayPal to check out? The answer is yes. You can securely purchase the Heartburn No More system using your PayPal account or any major debit or credit card when you click on the button and a new page opens with your own private, secure checkout area. 8, okay, I'm ready. How do I get started? Just click the Add to Cart button you see below this video, and you'll be taken to the secure checkout page Bob and I have set up, where you'll enter your basic information. Once you've done that, you get instant access to the food lists, the portion guide, the daily instructions, and everything else. You'll be able to view the entire guide right on your computer, your smartphone, or your tablet. You can also download it or print out as many copies as you like. And like I just mentioned, you'll be covered by a full 2-month money-back guarantee, which is why there is absolutely nothing to lose, and why you should go ahead and click that Add to Cart button you see right now.